Hello traders, welcome to this Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technical analysis video. Now in this video we are going to be looking at the fairly short-term price action on Bitcoin, because there's not really been a lot that's been happening over the last few days. You can see we're just stuck within this zone, okay, between this 45,000 down towards 40,000, this little $5,000 range that we do have right here, and at some point this is going to have to get some breakout from this range in one direction or another, which will lead of course to bigger price targets either to the downside or to the upside on this. Now I do have a video that I have been preparing which is going to go over just some of the things that you could possibly expect from Q4 as we do draw Q3 to a close. We're coming up to this end of September period, and then we are going into these last few months of the year where I think big things are going to happen within the cryptocurrency space. Now, I do have both bearish, very bearish, and very bullish scenarios, and a couple of little things in between that I do want to cover. But that's going to be in another video, really looking at a lot of the macro stuff that's going on, how the on-chain analytics are looking, how the general kind of state of the world is looking, and really looking towards, what we can expect as we go into this last quarter and do set up for 2022. But in this video, really, I just want to be focusing on these shorter time frames, again, taking things level by level and looking at what I expect in the very near future. Okay, so looking in on this at the moment, okay, we can see we're still within this really important area. Okay, I do see this as an area to be accumulating. Now that doesn't mean that we can't drop lower, but ultimately I see this as being still a very low risk area between this 42 to 40,500 area to be accumulating long positions or spot positions. But we do have to be aware that downside could come. Okay, and I'm going to go over that first of all in this video, because at the moment everything so far with what's been going on is pointing towards more downside. Okay, so we can see here where we were taking our first set of shorts up at these $52,000, once again compounding those short positions down into this zone here, which has started to now look like an accumulation region. So you can see the downtrend. Okay, so you have a high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and now we're continuously making these lower highs. You can see this start to consolidate within this area. Okay, and I am expecting a break of this probably maybe not even until the end of the month. At this stage, I do think that this grind could continue down for the next couple of days. But realistically, what we are looking at the moment is a few things on these larger time frames that have started to play out here. So I'm just going to switch over onto, which chart is it that I've been looking at? Here we go. Okay, so this is one of the important charts that I would like to kind of bring up on this. Okay, so here is a big monthly level on Bitcoin, right? This is our monthly level from August. Okay, and what we're looking at the moment is we're testing that. Okay, it's as simple as that. We're testing that towards the end of the month. We are testing this 41,500 area, which is our monthly open from August. Now, what I think is really important from a macro perspective is that you wouldn't want to see this candle in September turn into an engulfing bearish candle, taking out these lows and getting a close below on this candle as we come into the end of the month. So that's the first thing that's really important for myself on this chart. The second thing that I want people to be aware of, and this isn't something I use often, but it is these moving averages. Okay, so what we did have for the first time in quite a while was this close below the 21 EMA on our moving averages. Now, usually our 10 and our 21 would be what you kind of need to hold as support in order to continue an uptrend. And we can see that we've had that close below and we have started to search deeper down on this. Now, the next level from a moving average perspective isn't until we get down to this 36,800 kind of region. Okay, so if we do get continuation on this and we can't reclaim these moving averages, it's very likely that we'll see this move down into this 36,800 region on the chart. Now again, if we do zoom back in on this, okay, we can look at the daily as well. You can see these daily candles here. You can see these moving averages really weighing down price in it, finding it pretty hard actually to hold this 200 EMA. So it's kind of clinging on there. We're within this area of support, which you can see as accumulation, but you do need to be aware of further downside which could come. So let's just remove these from the chart very quickly and go on to these lower time frames. And of course, the other thing that we do have that is potentially playing out is this descending triangle kind of formation that is starting to form within this area that we're in. Okay, we can see we have been having these higher highs as well as these higher lows, but I wouldn't say from like a close perspective you're looking pretty much at this 41k area as being the area that it's been dipping into. It's just not been going quite as deep each time because obviously less volume, you don't need to kind of go as deep into this area. So we are seeing this descending triangle type pattern that could be playing out on here as well. Now the interesting thing about all of this is what this gives us is it gives us a 55 week EMA that is coming in within this 36,800 region, okay, highlighted here by this white line. That also takes out these lows. So very significantly, what did price do back in June, July? Okay, here are our lows. Price came down, took out these lows before eventually getting this reversal, okay? So we're looking at this as maybe being a similar structure to what we had back here in January, February, with the possibility that these lows could get taken. The other thing that this does give us is if we're to take a measured move from here to here, and we get a breakdown out of this, it's that same region, okay? So we do have quite a lot of confluence that starts to get put together within just a very small region on this chart. You can also add some more confluence to that. So if we take it from our low up to our high, here's our golden pocket, okay, slightly above that level. If we go onto log scale, because we're talking bigger moves here, then that just does give us this golden pocket region just very slightly below that level. So once again, what we're seeing on our golden pocket regions is this support around 36,700 or around 37,200, that kind of region on this chart. So we're looking at this as being a zone with a lot of confluence in it that could give a really good argument for a bounce if we are to see another move to the downside. So that's kind of, first of all, I guess, the bearish case, and that is something that we do have to be aware of. What we can also do on this is have a look at our NPOCs. So if we zoom out a little bit on here, you can see, of course, that we do have these points of control further down here. And of course, we do have a big void below, not so much looking at this point of control, but we do have this big void below within this 36,800 kind of region. That again could get touched if we do see a move again to the downside. Also on our weekly chart, okay, you can just see from our volume profile here, this big area, very low volume and inefficiency on the chart that price could search down and seek to fill within these same regions. Okay, so that's just again looking quickly at the footprint and or the volume profile on there, and just taking a look at some of the stuff that we do have going on there as well. So that does add a little bit more confluence to this zone. Okay, so this would be a region that I would be very interested in seeing if price were to come down here. What I think we'd have to see if that does happen is a quick reclaim of this monthly level if we are to get continuation to the upside. Because, as I said previously, I do see this as being a pretty reasonable area to be accumulating. Much the same as this was a very reasonable area to be accumulating back in July. Of course, it got that flush down, quickly reclaimed that level, and then never really looked back until, obviously, we're now here. Okay, so we could be looking at that as something very similar. You accumulate, has that flush lower, quickly reclaims, and then we can continue on as normal on this chart. Now, the other option, which we did go over on our trading room this morning, is this would give like even more of a, I guess, a max pain scenario that could come out of this, is if we're at this support area right now and we're getting squeezed into this area come the end of the month, what you often see is a first of the month pump, second of the month dump, okay? And this could be that really kind of great maximum pain that you would see for the retail trader getting this move out, because a lot of the market would at this point be looking at this triangle pattern and expecting completion on it. You would get that move out, change that market structure, trapping people at the highs, and then getting finally that move down before, of course, reclaiming and then getting a move up out of there. And we did see again something very similar to like that which did happen on this previous accumulation. Okay, you can see here as price started to consolidate within this region, took the highs, swept the lows, bounce, and then back to normal. Okay, now of course the issue that we would have if that were to happen, and I'm just going over a few different thoughts here, of course the issue we would have if that were to happen, and we do have people trapped at these highs, and we do have people who have accumulated these lows who haven't been able to get out, is if we do come back into this area, as soon as we do get back up into here, and we'd be having to look at where the point of control is, where the majority of positions are within this range, that could then act as very strong resistance, which if we are going to see a bear market play out, it would be at that point where I think it would basically confirm to everything the direction in which we're going to be going into. So if we do see this move down, and price cannot reclaim this 42k area, I do think it's highly likely that price enters a long-term bear market, a multi-year bear market from that point. Okay, now of course none of this could happen. We could just break up out of here, we could change market structure, and we could continue on with this bullish scenario that is playing out. But I did want to make people just very aware of the case for caution I guess at the moment, with there is still the possibility that although I have been buying this area, there is still a very high probability, or a fairly high probability, that we could be seeing price go lower. So that is kind of what I want to go over on this video today, just to make people aware of that other side of things, which could play out. Now, from a more local perspective, what we're seeing at the moment is, again, we're within this region of support, okay? And until this does break, it's still a region of support, and it's still a region of support that I'm happy enough to be buying on these dips and looking for potential reversals out of this. And if we do get a change of market structure, then that changes things completely. So what we have had today is you bring this up onto here, and you can see our 786 to our 83, our little pocket here, just above this monthly level that of course is still being defended very heavily. Starting to get some nice absorption that we do see going along on this. Now again, just to back up this with what we have at the moment, is we have throughout yesterday, we saw people very, very eager to be buying this dip. Okay, we had this move down, this grind down, with CVD going up and open interest increasing on the move down. Now we've had a bit of a change, it's been a bit of a shift with that today, whereas a lot of the people that were buying yesterday are now closing out of those positions or taking short positions today, and we can see these divergences starting to build. Okay, open interest increasing, a lot of selling going on at these lows, which we didn't see yesterday. So we're starting to see these increase of short positions, long positions starting to kind of flatten off, and now of course the drops in open interest, which again is a little bit more healthy on this. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So we are at this local region of support, and I do think if we can reclaim the daily open, which is basically where this daily is, okay, if we can reclaim this daily open, reclaim this VWAP at the same time, okay, daily open around here 42, let's just mark it on the chart. I don't know why that has gone missing from my chart anyway. Here is our daily open. So if price can reclaim that, can get back above the VWAP, can start to hold above this area, then I would be looking back towards the week open on this as well, which was of course from yesterday, and potentially looking at higher prices if we can reverse some of this downtrend that has been going on. So that would be the kind of more bullish case that we have at the moment. We are seeing these divergences start to form. People are no longer buying this dip as aggressive as they were back there. We've seen that drop off in open interest. Maybe this has gone low enough, and maybe this is more of an accumulation phase that we are going into. The other thing that I would like to go over very quickly on here is Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum did get that move down, of course, into this region. So I have moved this. This was on my chart earlier, is looking for, yeah, this region here basically as being a potential support on the ETH BTC pair. And again, what have we got on Ethereum? We've come into this golden pocket in this daily level, which is very significant on the USD pair. Again, on Ethereum, we have at this stage still not 30-minute chart. Take it back over here. So we have taken out the daily open on here, and we are back above VWAP. So that is something fairly significant on the ETH chart at the very least. So you can see our daily open, and prices come back above there, and we could be reversing this. So Ethereum once again does seem to be leading slightly over Bitcoin on this chart. So Ethereum looking decent, Bitcoin looking a little shaky. The other alts as well, not really doing that much. Litecoin still holding this daily level. Getting a nice move up as well on the BTC pair after a bit of a grind down over the past couple of days. So yeah, I think we've got to be at the moment looking at this as a downtrend, which is exactly what it is. We do have our VWAP above us that will be acting as resistance. We do have a daily open above us that will be acting as resistance. And we do have targets to the downside, which of course could act as support. I do think that it would be unusual maybe at this stage for these lows not to get taken. But I'm still looking at this for as being, again, like I keep saying, a decent opportunity to buy, but of course be aware that there is the possibility this could come to the downside, in which case I would be looking to be, again, a buyer at those levels in order to get a reversal to get continuation on back into bull market kind of zone again on here. So yeah, I think that's all I really want to cover on this video. We do, of course, have the 80% setup in play. If, by some miracle, price can find its way back above basically $43,000 today, I think the volume is very low. But if we can start to see that, of course, reclaim daily open, reclaim VWAP, start to push back up above here, we do have this scenario where we could see, okay, price comes into $43,000, we could see a move all the way back up to 44. So there is that idea in play on this chart as well. And of course, if that starts to happen, you'd be looking at this as being, right, things are starting to look better again. You've changed this local downtrend. Can we start to change the downtrend on the more high timeframes as well? Other than that, really, it's just this is all stuff for my other video. So I do have another video that I will be preparing later in the week. Just some interesting stuff about the total transfer volume at the moment being incredibly high, and it has been for a while. So are we looking at that as being, again, mass distribution like we've seen at these previous highs, with this just being a complete unloading of all money within the market? Or are we seeing this as being more of an accumulation period where money is moving around in order to get set for the next period of this bull run? I'm going to answer those questions as best I can in a video that will hopefully come either later today or tomorrow. Still doing a bit more research on that, and yeah, do look out for that one. But as for this video today, I think that's everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, bye.